5 creative ways that you can ask for a testimonial. Hey guys, so today I want to talk about testimonials. If you remember from my first video, how to be the face of the business without being the face of the business, one of my suggestions was to ask for a testimonial. And that's great because you're talking about yourself without actually really doing it. You're putting it in the hands of someone else, so it doesn't feel as showy. But the feedback I got was, well, how do I ask for a testimonial? Or it feels really awkward. So today I thought I would share a couple of tips on different creative ways to ask for testimonials that feel a little more natural and don't feel as awkward. So first tip, treat it like a survey. So if you've ever been to a restaurant, you've undoubtedly received a survey at the end of your meal. Like, how did we do? Or even if you've been to CVS or any kind of consumer-facing business, you've gotten some sort of survey. And this is something that we can apply in B2B or service-based business world as well. And I suggest putting it into something like a Google form or a Survey Monkey. I would suggest making it like 4 to 5 questions long. You don't want it to just be, hey, can I have a testimonial? Because you might as well just ask that. But the survey feels a little less intrusive. You're just kind of sending it as a closing to the way you work together. Like, okay, we're all set. We've closed out the project. Or even we're halfway through the project, or we've been working together for a few months now. This is my checking in survey. Just feels a little less like a hard ask. It feels almost like a formality. So you want to do 4 or 5 questions. I would say the first few should be either like rate my services on a scale of 1 to 5, or, how did we work together? Really easy questions, so you're not asking too much of them. And then that last question, or one of the last questions, is would you be willing to share a testimonial, and make it required so they have no choice but to fill it out. Number 2 is to send a template. So this is almost like a Mad Libs. You are kind of telling them exactly what to fill in. Now, this is a great option because if you leave it to someone else's devices, who knows what they would say. They may say something like, hey, Lauren, it was great to work with, which that's a help to no one. If someone's trying to make a decision about your services, you want a testimonial to demonstrate what you do and why you are the best option. So with this kind of Mad Libs format, you're basically telling the client, here's what I need you to say. Put it in your own words, but you're kind of doing the heavy lifting for them. So that's a nice option that can go in an email. And I like that because you've taken off the pressure of putting it on the client, because a lot of times they may not know what to say. And on that line of thinking, the third option is to actually just write it for them. Now, this isn't for everybody. I like to do this because I'm a writer. My job is to understand my client's voice. So this is kind of a natural fit for me. But it is a good option if your client's really busy, or maybe you're just not sure if they know what to say. So you could say, hey, I'm looking for a testimonial. I know you're super busy. Happy to write it for you based on the feedback you've given me, and then run it by you. Some people will say absolutely yes. Some people will say like, oh no, that's not necessary. But you've at least kind of taken the pressure off of them to know like, okay, I know you're busy. I don't want to bother you, but so I'm happy to do it for you, and kind of, like push them along. If you are going to do this, absolutely make sure you know what they would say about you, because it would be pretty awkward if you suggested something and they don't think that about you. They responded like, oh, that's what we were together on. I had no idea. Or I didn't really think you were that timely at all. So, of course you wouldn't do that, but just make absolute sure that if you are going to do that option, you know exactly what they want to say. The fourth option is to actually take what they have said in an email and translate it into a testimonial. Now, if you correspond with any client over email, you have undoubtedly heard from them like, thanks, Lauren, this is great. Even if it's something super simple, sometimes that's the best testimonial to use, or at least to use it as a jumping off point. So on my website, you will see I've taken screenshots of emails, or you can even do this if somebody has tagged you in a social media post saying like, hey, Lauren's great to work with. I've taken screenshots and put those on my website or social media, because that's an even better form of social proof. You're showing like, this is an actual thing. Somebody actually wrote this about me. But the greatest thing that you can do after that is say, hey, thank you so much. Can I use this on my website? Can you extrapolate so I can use this on my website? Or, just use it as a jumping off point to say like, thank you so much. Would you be willing to give me a formal testimonial? So that's another no-brainer, because they've already told you you're great. It doesn't feel awkward. You're not asking them what they think of you. You know you're good. You're just asking to use that in more visible places than your internal email. The fifth and final tip I have is to ask when you're talking to them. So sometimes email can feel a little awkward because you don't know what the response is. You don't know what people's reaction is. Whereas if you're having a good, lively, energetic conversation with somebody, you can kind of use that energy to ask for a testimonial. And I know that's what I've done in the past, where things are going great. We're having an awesome conversation, and they're like, yeah, I really enjoyed working with you, Lauren. I use that as a jumping off point to say, you know what, actually, on that note, would you mind giving me a testimonial? And then from there, you can decide whether you want to send them the template version or write it for them, or just kind of leave it to them to write. Always just offer like, hey, I'm happy to write it for you. Or if they've actually said something that's substantial of value, you could even say, hey, that's a great testimonial for my website. Can I write that up and send it to you so I can use it on my website? So really just using the energy of an in-person or a phone call conversation. So those are my 5 tips today. Would love to hear from you guys. What are some creative ways that you've asked for testimonials? And if you have any questions, or you want some of those Mad Libs, or you just want to chat about testimonials, shoot me a DM, because I would love to hear from you guys.